We've got a great show planned for you tonight here on Fort Wayne Footy as we talk about all the high school games that have happened, the stat leaders mid-season. We got some names to drop on you this week, some pretty exciting stats, and someone hitting their century mark on number of goals as a high school player, which is pretty exciting. We got some big games that you're going to want to catch this week. We'll talk about those. We have an interview with Ryan Smeltzer from Summit City Casuals and the announcement that we hinted at last week. We'll tell you all about that on tonight's episode of Fort Wayne Footy. Before we get into it, we do want to let you know that tonight's episode is brought to you by Omnisource. Omnisource, one of North America's largest processors, distributors, and managers of scrap and secondary metals based right here in Fort Wayne. I apologize for messing up that ad read, but my rundown was scrolled to the bottom from where we were talking earlier. So anyway, that's a fun way to start tonight's show. My name's Brian, hosting the show. I'm here with Micah, Paul, and Dustin. How are y'all tonight, Dustin? Thanks for joining us. I know you got a busy week. How are you feeling right now?
I'm here. I'm present. I'm here. If I make any mistakes, I cannot be held liable for it right now.
You know what? You'd be the first one on tonight's show to make a mistake if you did.
Yeah, right. I would definitely be told. I would get a text message from somebody in our core group of friends that would tell us that I made a mistake. So don't worry about it.
That's never happened before on last week's show.
Right. I was just going to say, thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen. Always appreciate you correcting us in the chat. Absolutely love that. So thank you for doing that. Micah, welcome back. We missed you last week. How you doing?
I miss you guys. Happy to be here. And Brian, you're doing great today. So
I had this all out and ready. Like, we started the show differently. I decided 5 minutes before the show started and I didn't even get it right. So we just press on and we do what we do. Paul, welcome back, man. How are you?
Yeah, thanks. Off last week, but I watched the show anyway just because I'm a fan. Lots going on personal-wise, high school-wise, watching college stuff, so PDA, all sorts of stuff.
Did you have games this week at all, or are those just on weekends for PDA stuff?
For PDA, so the boys played yesterday, and we had the girls play today at home, so I was out at Sport Club for several hours watching our U9 and U10 girls play, and it was fun.
Nice. And Micah, you had a club match tonight with your boys, yeah?
Yeah. Just got back in from Elkhart, I think that's where I was. So somewhere up north, but or west or wherever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great game. We went down 2-1 in the first half. Made some adjustments at halftime. The boys responded brilliantly, and we ended up with a 4-3 win. So
nice.
Very happy with the resiliency of the group. And definitely always good to get a good league win at the start of the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was this your first game with that?
Second match. We lost last week. We lost to Dynamo. We had them in friendly, I think, like 2 weeks prior. Beat them pretty handedly. So I think the boys came in a little overconfident, ended up dropping that 1-0. So we're 1-1 in conference. Goal is to win our league and get into the GLC next season. So still on track.
That's awesome. We appreciate you having a game in Elkhart, driving home, and then jumping right on your microphone to join us for the show tonight. Love that. I do want to mention, because I messed up our sponsor read earlier, I do want to mention that we do have some new sponsors that potential new sponsors that we look forward to announcing here very soon. And so stay tuned for that if you're interested in supporting Fort Wayne Footy and the work that we're doing here through corporate sponsorship or Patreon. We have ways to do that in the links to this show. You'll find it on our new website too, www.fortwaynefooty.com. We've got all of our new episodes are up there. Some of our most popular YouTube videos are up there. You get to know a little bit more about our team. And we've got a series that we're running now on the history of soccer in Fort Wayne. Part 1 is up. Part 2 is supposed to be up this weekend, but I had to go out of town. So it's going up tomorrow. Part 2 of the history of soccer in Fort Wayne. So look for that. Opportunities to catch some, bonus content And we got on a show with Ryan Smeltzer, who's going to be on later tonight to do the badge ranking show on Patreon. So if you're over there, you can find that as a paid member of Patreon. So let's jump into tonight's show, guys. We started this new segment last week called Soccer Moment of the Week, right? And so let's just go around the horn. What was your highlight of your week in the soccer world? Whether has to do with you, your kids, pro soccer, high school soccer. And Dustin, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it was. I feel like this week is a blur. There was so much. There was just so much soccer going on. But as Paul mentioned it, our boys played yesterday. PDA was their first home games, and was impressed with how they played in the second game. They had a doubleheader. First game not so strong. You know those games when you get there and you're like, those boys have to be 2 years older than us. Like, I'm pretty sure they drove here. That was one of those games where our boys just went in scared to death. But it was fun to see them second game kind of come out and not let that come in. And then, yeah, my son that plays at Carroll, they had some really good games that we'll talk about this later on. So it was fun. I felt like I was literally at a soccer pitch or watching it on TV every single day the entire week. So
it's a great week.
It is. You're right.
It's a great week. And I will say, like, I have a son that plays soccer here in Fort Wayne, and we always joke, the parents on our team, like, there's something in the water in Fort Wayne that stunts our growth. Because anywhere we go, we play.
100%.
Everybody's hitting puberty 2 or 3 years before our boys are.
Goshen.
It's crazy. And so once we finally catch up, it's like, okay, we can hang. But
yeah,
we have a picture of one of our players on our club team running next to a club player from an indie team.
I was going to say, is it Andy? I knew exactly who you're talking about.
And it's like, he's taken 3 steps for every one step this other guy's take. Like, it's crazy how that goes. That was the extreme. But anyway, thanks for that, Dustin. Paul, how about your soccer moment of the week?
Yeah, so this one's very personal to us. My daughter, Audrey, she's a junior at Homestead, class 2027. And for the last couple of years, with club soccer, she wants to play in college. Yeah, so we've been doing showcases, ID camps, emailing coaches and stuff. But these last few months is when you can really start talking with coaches, going on college visits from a recruiting point of view. And we're happy to announce that she's landed to play Division I soccer at Ball State University.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Fall of 2027. Met with the coaching staff many times and really happy for her. She's put a lot of work into it. So we're proud of that.
Super cool.
That's awesome. That's big. I saw that announcement on social media this week. There you go.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I didn't even see her wearing it.
Yeah, love it. I love it. Micah.
Yeah, soccer moment of the week. I was not able to attend this game, but I know my son was very pumped about it. But Concordia boys PK win over Dwenger this week. Very good win. It sounds like the Concordia boys are really starting to hit their stride, much like they did last year, where they start off a little slow and then they made a really deep run to the state finals, right? They were state runner-ups last year. So they're looking pretty good. I know they have a couple big matches coming up this week as well. So excited for them for that win. And hopefully this will spur them on to bigger matches coming up.
Yeah, that's cool. If you're watching live, we'd love to know your soccer moment of the week. Drop that in the chat, in the comments there, and we'll get it up here on the screen. We'd love to hear from you. I will say, Dwayne says, congrats on the Ball State.
We got that. Thank you.
Yeah. Hope she does well. Congrats there. My soccer moment of the week, and much like you rocking your Ball State shirt, I'm rocking my FC Cincinnati shirt because I was in the building last night at TQL Stadium when Evander scores a game-winning goal in the 98th minute of the match, 90th plus 8, 13 seconds left on the clock. He puts a finishing goal in. They win 2-1. Clinches a playoff berth, and I got to see it was right in front of me, 14 rows from the field, and it was awesome. I jumped and I got dizzy celebrating, but the stadium went nuts. It was absolutely an incredible moment to be a part of. So rocking my FC Cincinnati gear for that purpose tonight to celebrate that moment. We had some big moments in high school soccer this week. We talked about a few of them. I want to get into some of these games here. And we'll get to we'll get to some of the stat leaders, because I think that's a big part of, we're mid-season now. Who's doing really well? Who's doing as expected? Who's maybe, outperforming what we might have expected, team-wise, individual-wise. We've got Christina. Before we move on, Christina's in the chat saying her and Ryan were at the PFW Ball State Women's on Wednesday. Looks like they've got a solid crew that Audrey's going to join. So
yeah, thanks. Awesome. Yeah, we were there too, and actually, I think later on, I'd love to chime in about our experience there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later in the show. That'll be part of our segment with Ryan, because I know Ryan was there, part of the party at the pitch there as well. Let's hit some of the boys' games this week. Homestead had a couple big wins this week, one over Canterbury, and then the bigger one was a come from behind win against Dwanger. So Dwanger had a bit of a down week this week. Unfortunately, they're a good team. They're really, really solid. But they went up 2-0 on Homestead in the first half, and Homestead came back with like 3 goals in about 5 minutes in the second half. And then it was just a stalemate the rest of the way. So hard fought match on both sides. Concordia's win over Dwanger. You talked a little bit about that. Huntington North with a 6-1 win over Belmont, the boys. And then Bishop Luers. Paul, you had some notes on Bishop Luers.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a strong start to their season. This week was a little bit of a slip. I mean, they had a second loss of the season, 2-0 loss to Warsaw. I heard Warsaw actually had a really good game plan against them. And then they had a 1-1 draw against Bethany Christian, which one player actually admitted that's probably one of their toughest games they've had this season. So props to them. Also, from a couple other sources, that they're kind of trying to figure out their goalie play. And sounds like they have someone transferring in who's going to be a goalie for them, who will be eligible come this Saturday. So they're looking to try to shore up that position. So a strong team looking to make it even stronger.
Yep. And Homestead just had a player, Grayson, just came back off of he transferred in, and some paperwork, I guess, was overlooked, and he wasn't able to play until this Thursday. So it's good to have players back that are able to do that. Carroll, you talked about Carroll a little bit, Dustin. How'd they do this week?
They did well. They played Leo earlier on in the week and won 4-0. And then they played Concord yesterday. Huge game. Concord, I believe, is ranked 4th, and Carroll was ranked 7th, and we won 1-0 in the rain. I had no clue it was going to rain yesterday. Like, out of nowhere. Like no idea whatsoever that it was going to rain. And then all of a sudden it was like, for both PDA and the Carroll game, it's just like torrential downpour for like an hour and then nothing else, like it never rained. So, but no, they played really well. It's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see, because again, it's one of those things where they started out strong. They had a rough game against Goshen, losing to Goshen, and then a tie against Blackhawk, and then they've come out strong since then. So I think they have a really strong team. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season. They play Bishop Luers tomorrow night. So and you were talking about that strong team, so that'll be good at home. So it'll be interesting to see this week.
I will say this for the record, for anybody that's listening, just so they know, Dustin and I go back, our kids played together, and Dustin's never ready for the weather. Like,
no,
you remember? No,
I'm not.
Like, the temperature dropped. It was like in the 30s, and you had this like windbreaker, and the rest of us are winter coats.
You'd think I have gotten better about it, but truthfully, none of us knew it was going to be raining this week. Like, my wife didn't even. Like, luckily, she went home between Carroll game and PDA games and got a rain jacket for us to wear. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was supposed to just be like 80s for the next week and a half. It was not.
Word to the wise, like.
Don't listen to me.
Yeah, don't listen to Dustin.
Don't ask me.
I keep a winter coat. I keep rain gear. I keep shorts, extra t-shirt in the back of my car at all times, because you never know on the sideline of a soccer field what it's going to be like.
Have you tried electric vests yet? Have you?
No.
Oh my god!
I have not, but I've seen people.
My wife has
them.
one. I've seen other fans with them.
I just would be worried that they just spontaneously combust. Like, what happens if they just like catch a blaze?
Or you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, to be honest, I always have a raincoat in my car, but it had gotten dirty, and so it was in the washing machine. So that's why I didn't have it. So I have gotten better about that.
That's good. That's good to know. A couple of the girls' games this week, we had Carroll that they rolled over Belmont 4-0. Carroll's got a good team. DeKalb 2-1 over Columbia City. Dwanger in a tight one over Concordia. 4-3. Micah, anything on that match there?
Yeah, Dwayne's a good team. You know, their two midfielders, they had Sammy Asalagi and Ella Hine, just very dynamic players. Got behind our midfield group a couple times and was able to create just overloads in the final area that we just couldn't handle. Yeah, it was 3-4. We went up early. It was a 2-0 lead, and I know we had talked about that at the very, very start of this whole show about the 2-0 lead. You know, the girls were super excited. I'm like, calm, stay in the process. Like, where it's early yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And Dwanger's good. You know, they're starting to, I think, hit their strides, figure out some things. So they're going to be a tough team to beat. But I told my girls after the game, like, I know how we're going to line up against this group when we see him. It's not if, it's when we see him. I fully expect to see them in the sectional finals. So hopefully things go our way and we get a rematch.
Yeah. Things have really turned around for Leo, right? They had a rough start to the season with a 2-0 win over a good Snyder team. Belmont 1-0 over Northrop. Is that right? Yeah. Correct. You corrected that.
Yeah.
Did I have it wrong the first time there?
I believe it was 1-0 over Northrop and then Belmont. The actual was 1-0 Belmont.
Yes.
Yeah. I was looking at Northrop. They've only conceded 3 goals so far this year in 8 or 9 games. So that's a really good win for Belmont. And I know Belmont started with, I think they're like 0-4.
Tight games.
Against really, really good teams. And told you guys, like, don't be deceived by that record. They're still a very good team, and beating a good Northrop team, I think, says a lot about them.
Yeah. Homestead with a double header yesterday. Is that right, Paul?
Right. And we also were looking at the weather and like, oh my gosh, it's going to be like 80 degrees, double headers is going to be killer. And the cooler weather with the rain was actually, as a parent watching, it wasn't great, but for the players, it was not a bad weather situation for a doubleheader. So yeah, we were really looking forward to that first game. It was number 1, 2A ranked Mishawaka Marion. Put up a solid score against them, and then we had Fishers just a couple hours later. So it was a good day for us, but the weather ended up, it was good soccer weather, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not an easy doubleheader.
No.
Mishawaka Marion and Fishers.
And Fishers, it was their only game of the day. So I'm like, well, that's not fair. You know?
Yeah. But hey, you came out on top. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
so.
enjoy the bus ride home. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what matters. So that transitions us into our mid-season rankings. So this part of the show, I want to talk about some of the things that are really standing out about soccer here in Fort Wayne, some individual players, some teams that are really making a name this season. And I want to start with the boys, the state rankings. And there's 2 different ranking systems here, right? Max Preps has one ranking system. So if you get on their site, that might be the one that's most widely known, not locally known, but most widely known. If you just look at Max Preps, they have Carroll at 1. Goshen at 1. This was last week. This is before this weekend. Goshen at 1, Carroll at 4, Concord at 7, Blackhawk at 16, and Northrop at 25 in the state of Indiana. So a lot of good teams right in this area, according to Max Preps. Now, I know the coaches poll, if we scroll down, had it flipped a little bit, right? So
yeah.
Go ahead and go through those, Dustin, since you got it there up on your screen.
Yeah, no, they had Concord at 5, Carroll at 9, and I'm looking down to see where the
Goshen was in there at 7.
Yep.
Which they were 1 on the other one.
Right. And then Warsaw at 20. But when you look at it, Carroll beat Concord yesterday. So it's kind of interesting because they were flipped in the one and then, made sense in the other. So it's just interesting to see. And I'd be interested to see what their reasonings are behind why they're different in both those polls. But kind of fleshed out.
I was just going to say, I think probably the coaches poll it's a more local thing. So they have their eyes more on the local teams, finger on the pulse of what's happening. So that one's probably more of an accurate measure than maybe a Max Preps that goes by, whatever they go by, wins, goal differential, things like that. But it is fun to see your name at the top of like a nationally known website like Max Preps, right?
Yeah.
So as we look at these rankings, we'll look at both, but probably lean heavier in trusting the local coaches poll more so.
I will say I'm shocked that Goshen's not higher up on there, because Goshen's a good team. I mean, they're a strong team. And so I'm shocked that that in the coaches poll they had them down at 7 instead of higher up there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. And then we get to the girls state rankings, and I'm looking here at the coaches polls here. So the coaches poll has Homestead at 4. They have in state, they have, let's see, Carroll at 9, Penn at 10. Who else locally here? That's about it. And then we got some indie schools
3A,
down.
right? That's 3A.
Yeah, this is 3A, correct, 3A. And that's the other thing, right? Max Preps, I don't know that they separate that. But we've got the 3A, 2A. So locally 2A, we've got Dwenger at 2. We have Belmont at 7. And yeah, we go down that list.
Concordia.
It's like
Concordia 18.
18. And then 1A girls. For as much as we've talked about Blackhawk, right? And their girls team tearing it up with this crazy goal differential. They're sitting, where are they at here?
8.
At 8 on the 1A girls state poll. That I don't know any of these other teams, but it'd be interesting to see how they match up, because Blackhawk is putting some goals away.
Yeah, I don't think they've lost a game yet. I think they're 8-0-1.
I believe so.
I think you're right.
And I as this season goes on, I think they're going to slowly keep climbing up.
Yeah, climbing up the chart there, finishing your sentence. Yep. I think you froze a little bit. I did want to mention, again, for what it's worth, we have state poll Homestead at number 4. If you look at the Max Prep poll, that's a team that I just want to point out, because we looked at preseason rankings, right? And we kind of debated, like, are these accurate? It's hard to tell because you got girls and boys that graduate, and then they, whatever. And they had Homestead at 10th in the state in preseason. And I think we all thought, that's not going to hold much water. They're going to move up pretty quickly, right? So they're at 4 right now. In the Max Prep poll, again, for what it's worth, not every high school in the country is playing right now. They have different seasons in different parts of the country. But for the ones that are playing now, they have Hamilton Southeastern at 1 and Homestead at 2 in the state and in the nation. Whatever that means. I don't know. I want to mention it because how cool is that to get your name mentioned in a national ranking as a high school player? Like, that's right or wrong, whatever credentials or whatever they go by. That's cool. I think to see that. Paul, maybe you have different feelings. You're tied there. Your daughter plays there. How do you feel about these rankings here?
Well, nationally, who knows? But statewide, I'm not going to argue. Number 1, Hamilton Southeastern. As Homestead being a strong team in the state, we have our eyes on who else is going on. And Hamilton Southeastern, you can't argue with number 1. I mean, they mercy ruled Noblesville, the reigning champion. Mercy ruled them this year, 9-0. So the unfortunate thing, I don't want to get too deep into the playoff structure and stuff, but whoever comes out of this Fort Wayne, semi-regional, that's a collision course with Hamilton Southeastern. So that's what we have our eyes on in the area.
I think that you have to have your eyes set. Like, it's not good to be at the top. It's hard to stay at the top, but to maybe be even second, you at least got someone like, this is our mark. This is who we're going after. This is who we got to beat. And you got the drive then to stay there to beat number 1. If you're at number 1, man, it's hard to stay there because everybody's gunning for you. So it's good to have, Homestead up there, but I'm glad they got a team that they're shooting for. So let's get at some stat leaders here. We've got on the girls' side, leading out is Corey Brown at Concordia Lutheran, and Grace Mann at Norwell, each with 16 goals. So statewide, they're I think 20th in the state of Indiana with 16 goals. That's a lot of goals. for an individual player. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing in Corey this year and how those goals are going in.
Corey is she's a special player. She's so selfless on the field, where I have to tell her at times, just take it. You have to be selfish when you have the opportunities. And she's taken that really, really well. I think she has a lot more goals in her this year, so I would really expect this tally to start climbing very, very quickly as we close out this year.
It's kind of nice to have a player that's that you have to tell to take shots, right? That's a good team player. And so to have 16 goals and be selfless at the same time that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And she's scoring goals against the better teams in the area too. Scored against Northrop, scored against Belmont, scored against Dwenger, and multiple goals as well. So, definitely one of the top players in the city, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for that one. Very, very good kid.
Yeah. Micah, if you can mute yourself and check your mic connections, it sounds like there's a duck in there quacking when you talk. If you
How is that? Is that better?
No. Mute your mic and check maybe the connection in the back, and then we'll come back there. As we talk about the goals, sorry about that. This is a fun night, right? As we talk about the goals, it's worth mentioning Grace Mann hit her the century mark with 103 goals now in her career total. I've not seen her play. Those of you maybe have played against her. Big accomplishment. What are you seeing in Grace Mann's play that allows her to score so many goals?
She's a strong player for Norwell. Like, she's their player. And I remember playing against her in club. I think she's a 2008. So growing up, seeing her play, strong player, great kid, and just congrats to her for her career century mark. Still several games to go.
Yeah.
Is that? Did you say what year is she? Is she a senior?
She's a senior. Yeah.
Okay, so 100 goals in. Wow, that's even still in 4 seasons, and we're halfway through the 4th one to hit 100.
She's going to play at Creighton,
phenomenal.
if I understand.
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, solid player.
I saw it right up in the paper. I think she's one of only 6 girls in the history of the state of Indiana to get over 100. Wow. Huge accomplishment. How's my mic, by the way?
It's great.
Better. Okay.
Yep, it's great.
Nobody's quacking at us now. That was strange. I'd never heard that before.
No.
In a mic. We've got Northrop's. So Northrop's got Grace Mann that's got 16 goals. Also Kaylin McCarroll with 12 goals. So 2 players in double digits right now. Blackhawk, Elena with 11. Is that Leininger?
Leininger.
Yeah. And Homestead's Audrey Johnson. I think we know her dad with 14 goals. She gets it all from her mom, I'm sure. That's right. And then on the boys' side, we got Jonas Shipman with 13 goals from Columbia City, Isaiah Acosta from North Manchester with 12, and Wyatt Schroll from North Manchester also with 11. So again, one high school with two players.
That's crazy.
In double digits. That's a duo that is hard to mark, I would imagine, on the girls' side and the boys' side, and those 2 schools. Goals against average. That's a stat that means a lot to me, guys.
I don't know why.
Goalkeeper, right? As a goalkeeper, the goals against average means something. So we have McKenna. Say that last name. I know you've said it before, from Blackhawk. Darude. Am I saying that correctly?
Sure.
With a 0.13 goals against average.
That's crazy.
Goals against average is the number of goals that are scored per game on average. And so, again, they've given up just a handful of goals all season, and they're putting a lot on the other end. And then Emma Canales at Homestead with the 0.384, which is also phenomenal. As you talk, guys, at higher levels of soccer, I've heard anything below 2 is pretty elite. 1 is major elite. Below 2 is good. Below 1 is elite. I think is what I've heard. So those are pretty phenomenal goals against averages. And again, I know you watch, Paul, you've seen these girls play maybe a little bit more. Micah, you coached against them. good players for sure. What do you see as you play them on the field? As you've seen them play with your daughters or whatever, what are you seeing in their play that like puts them over the top?
Yeah, it's not always the goal differential, but it's, and I'll tell goalkeepers this all the time, it's not stopping the shot, but it's preventing a shot from happening. So a lot of these top goalkeepers are the ones that are communicating, they're leading the defense. I'm not familiar with either of these girls, either Emma or McKenna. I'll see McKenna in about a week, so I can't wait for that to happen. But
yeah, I was just applauding what you said. That was really great.
I got so distracted by it.
No, I was just applauding that, man. I think that's what I tell people. Like when I played, led the city in goals against and goals against average for most of my senior season. And I tell people like I can stop some shots, but my defense knew where to be.
Because you're reading the field.
You're reading the field and I'm communicating with them. So when I coach goalkeepers, I'm like, the more you talk to your defenders, the more you talk to your midfielders, the fewer shots are going to come your way and the better your stats are going to be. Like it starts with your mouth. So I just had to applaud that, Mike. I think that's really important. And these goalkeepers, I know, communicate. Paul, were you going to add anything to that conversation?
No, I totally agree. Right. They're the leaders on the field. And a poor goalie is very, noticeable. A good goalie might not be as get the credit because they're doing such a good job. But looking across higher level coaches out there, how many of them are goalies, right? It seems like that position that tends to be a really intelligent position. They know the game, and a lot of them go into coaching.
Yeah.
Probably no coincidence.
Paul, did you just call me intelligent? Is that what you did?
It was general.
I mean, I don't think he said Brian. I think he just said in general.
Okay, all right.
But no, it is true. It is true though. I mean, we're teaching our boys at 9 years old, like that. We're telling them just this weekend. We were telling them if you're in goal, you need to. if we're in goal or you're in goal, you need to talk to your players. Like you're the one that's leading the plays out there. You're the one that's leading the game. You're telling your boys where to go. You're telling them to get here, get there. Hey, look over here. There's a guy here. You're directing the play. So you start that at the young age. Then that's where you get to this 0.13 goals against. That's crazy to me. That's just nuts.
Yeah, that's awesome. And no, Christine, I was not punking Micah with the duck sounds. That was legitimately his mic. I just added the applause there to support his point that he was making. Getting to the assists, we've got goals. We had goals against average. Now we get to the assists. Blackhawks, Becca McGlennon, and Homestead's Channing Zyrath with 9 assists each. That's a pretty big deal when you got girls scoring 12 and 16 goals and 14 goals. You've got to have people feeding them, and so that's pretty big there. What are you seeing in Channing's play there at Homestead?
Good. She's a new addition. She transferred in last year, so she's been a nice addition for us. Also note that she has 9 goals on the season, so we had a pretty good offensive line there. Between Brayley Morris, Audrey Johnson, and Channing. So it's quite a trio up top. I know Todd Gilpin, a few weeks, maybe a month ago when we had our preseason show, he said there's going to be a lot to go around among those 3. So Channing's definitely been contributing for us.
Yeah. On the boys' side, we have with 8 assists, Lane Snyder. You might have seen him on our social media, on our story this week. Broke the Lakewood Park Christian School single game assist record that stood for years with 4 assists. Lane comes away from that match this week with 6 assists in a single match, which is huge. I don't think I've ever heard of that. One player with that many assists in a single match. So congrats to Lane Snyder. He's got 8 on the season. Peyton Strassel from East Noble with 8. We got Tyler Pape from Lures, Rudy Gomez from Wayne, and Sam Bernard from Carroll, and then Chris Rodriguez at New Haven with 7 assists. So a lot of players that are just dishing the ball. It's fun to watch. So let me ask you guys this. More fun to watch, a pretty goal or a pretty assist?
So I'll throw this out here. When all 3 of our kids played soccer, we used to give them $1 for every assist that they had to try and make them less selfish when they were younger to try and get them to see the open player. I love both, but I love a selfless player who can see the field and see the open guy to give them the shot. So I'll go with assists for myself.
All right, Micah.
Yeah, I think
Duck
the
boy?
assists in having my mic is so good, right?
You're good.
It's having the vision to find that next level pass. I'll tell my team all the time. It's great that you can take people one-on-one, but can you set someone else up with the right pass at the right moment, with the right weight on it, with the right pace? So to me, it's the assist. It's a pass that's more difficult to coach, which probably makes it the prettier play. So always the assist.
Okay, Paul.
I'll go the other way. I love a good assist. I love Kevin De Bruyne. He's awesome. But I think there's a lot. You can put a lot of shots on goal from great passes. That ability to finish, though, that and we call it not shooting, it's finishing. I like the term finishing because your team has done a great job doing all the hard work. Let's just finish it. So love a good finish.
Yep. And I'll go back to last night's match that I was at in Cincinnati. Like there were 2 or 3 sitters that beautiful balls across, and these, multi-million-dollar strikers not putting the ball in the back of the net, from 6 yards out with a goalkeeper on the near post. Like, how do you miss that? It is tough to finish. And then I'll go back to one of our games this last week. I got on our team about like, you're all looking for the pretty pass. You've got a striker making a run and you're all looking to put it through 4 defenders. Yes, it's going to be pretty if it gets there, but it's not getting there. Find an open player. Let's stop doing that. My son was the other way, Dustin. Like he always looked for the assist, even when he was in the middle of the 18, nobody around him. He's like, I'd rather have the assist than the goal. Like, where's my striker? Like, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Put it in the net.
Well, I think it's player dependent, right? Like if you're used to like shooting, like then we need to learn how to pass. If we're used to, just passing, then you learn how to shoot. It's kind of how do you coach that player? So, yeah.
So kudos congratulations to all of those individuals and those teams that, are climbing in the state rankings. You're doing well with your individual stats. Keep playing. We love supporting you and just all the good soccer here in Fort Wayne. So as you hit achievements, let us know through social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We're here on YouTube. We've got a new website, fortwaynefooty.com. Send us a note to Fort Wayne Footy or info@fortwaynefooty.com and let us know your achievements this season. And we'll celebrate those with you here on Fort Wayne Footy on Sunday night. So I do want to just point you to Patreon here for just a moment. We've got part 2, as I mentioned earlier, of our soccer history of soccer in Fort Wayne coming up on Patreon this week. We have $5 and $10 monthly tiers. If you're interested in additional content that we produce, that we're looking to do more of that. Early access to interviews that we're going to do with some players, hopefully from Fort Wayne FC, as those begin to be announced in whatever weeks or months those happen. And lots of other stuff happening over there on Patreon. There's a link in the description of this episode, whether you're listening later in the week or here live, you can click on that and check that out. We have 2 Patreon members that spent some time at Party at the Pitch, in Christina Copeland and Ryan Smeltzer. And now might be a good time to bring Ryan Smeltzer into the show. Ryan Smeltzer from Summit City Casuals. Let me pull him up here on the screen. There we go. Ryan, man, how you doing?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Everyone in the chat. How we doing?
Good, man. You've been hanging out backstage, listening to us talk and Micah quack at us. Yep. And so it's good to have you. I know you're usually in the chat, sending us information and asking questions. And tonight you're here joining us. So I'm glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I run the Summit City Casuals. So Summit City Casuals, the unofficial soccer supporters group here in Summit City. The goal is just to amplify and engage in our local soccer ecosystem. So a lot of that's just sharing stories engaging on different discords, just celebrating and letting people know what's going on here in the Summit City.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about Summit City Casuals in a minute. But tell us about, your love and your passion of soccer. Where'd that come from?
Well, I grew up playing soccer. I'm originally from Middlebury, so we had rec soccer and then Middlebury Magic. And then I played all the way up until high school. My stepdad is a coach as well, so he was doing women's soccer for high school, middle school, all that kind of stuff. So going to those games, my two younger brothers played soccer. So it was always a part of our childhood, and I was glad for that.
Yeah. And you and I talked, we did a show on Patreon, the badge ranking show of all the USL 1 teams. That was a ton of fun, by the way. And I learned a ton from you and your knowledge of USL soccer and the websites you visited and the videos you've watched in preparation for that. I just learned a ton from you on that. So I want to, highlight that your passion for soccer is not just right here in Fort Wayne. It expands out. But you told me a story that night as we were getting to know each other a little bit about other places you maybe have kicked a soccer ball around with people.
Yeah. So soccer just has that amazing ability to bring people together. Doesn't matter where you come from. Once you start kicking that ball, it all goes away. So I was deployed in Iraq in 2008, 2009. I had family members that would send soccer balls, jerseys, all that kind of stuff overseas, and then we'd pass those out, and we'd get the opportunity when it was safe to be able to kick the ball around with the kids or some of the Iraqi police officers. So, and even on the fob, we'd have, people from Mongolia, South Africa, all over the place on the fob, and we'd be able to play on the fob and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Just to you get organized soccer here in the States, and this could maybe spiral into another conversation another time, but all the organized soccer here in the States. And then a lot of times you travel and there's not as much organization. It's just kids getting out in the streets, on the fields, knocking a ball around and developing their individual skills. There's no coaching. They're just, free to play. Right. Without fear of consequence of sitting a bench or whatever. Did you see much of that in Iraq when you were there? Or was it just the instances, the moments that you actually got out to knock a ball around? Yeah.
Cause you would see soccer everywhere. They would have their Manchester City jerseys on, Barcelona, whatever they could find. And yeah, it was just, either it was in the dirt or wherever they could. We'd be playing in the streets or wherever we could play. But yeah, they would, and then you go back to that community and they would show you the soccer ball and be so excited. And then it was cool to see, like this year we had a player on Fort Wayne FC from Iraq. So to see that kind of start to come full circle was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, Al Sadiq Hassan, we had him on the show. Yeah. He was a fun interview and a great singer, karaoke, from what I understand. Yeah. So you talk about Summit City Casuals as the unofficial supporters group in Fort Wayne for Fort Wayne FC. Tell us that story, because I found that one kind of humorous and fascinating when we talked.
So you got the Three Rivers Regiment, which I was a part of for the first couple of years. And then so they're the bubbles, the smoke, the cheering, and for some people that's not their drive. So it'd be kind of like they tell people to go sit up in the casual section. So that's kind of where the casual name came from.
Nice.
So, because it's just important just to be able to support your way, whether it's cheering, bubbles, smoke, all that kind of stuff, or it's just hanging out, just kick back, watching the game. So that's kind of where the casual name came from. It was just kind of a funny thing. So, but everything that the regiment does for Fort Wayne FC is amazing.
Yeah.
The work that goes into organizing all that. I mean, you've had both Shane and Christina on, but they have so many other people behind the scenes that are helping with all of that. So whether it be organizing all the flags, because it's important to make sure all the players are recognized, but it's also important to see, for the fans to be able to see, like, all these different countries that are represented on our team. So
yeah.
So
Go ahead, Dustin.
No, I was just going to say, so you do a lot of social media. You were talking about that and throwing some, the videos and just kind of bringing it out there. Do you have any desire, passion to develop Summit City Casuals beyond that? Like, what's your ultimate, if you, no holds barred, what's your ultimate goal for what
So I
you'd like to
originally
see?
started it. So after I walked away from the regiment for a little bit, I helped the last 2 seasons with Fort Wayne FC. So volunteering, helping with game day setup. So I wanted a way to still be able to have the interaction with the soccer community, and it's also nice just to have a profile that's the algorithm is nothing but soccer.
Yeah.
So that's all I am fed on this algorithm is soccer. So and then you start connecting all these different clubs, all the different youth clubs we have here, all the other teams, 1927, Summit City United. And then, of course, we have the terms from Flyers for Power Soccer. So we've got all this amazing soccer in Fort Wayne. And I just like to use the stories. I don't post too much other than the stories, because that's just like a snapshot of what's going on in our community, whether it's the different games, collegiate, high school, or whatever it might be. So,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But as far as where to take it, I was just something I started. So
Yeah,
I was really happy when I saw that you guys started this podcast. Because I think it's important for us to be able to have a voice as far as the fans and the supporters, and it's fan engaged. It's not, the club's not putting this together. It's all fan engagement and fan started. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I do think it's important to have, different arms or voices in different places. So you got social media, just what's happening right now, what's happening this week that you're constantly posting. We've got what we're doing on a weekly basis, kind of review, a look ahead here on the podcast. We've got Three Rivers Regiment that is, I know they're engaged in community stuff throughout the year, but they're the ones that are definitely bringing the energy and the passion and the liveliness at a game. I want to revisit that for a second. Just this idea of, imagine like that may not be my cup of tea, right? Like I love it, but I get so like focused on the game and the tactics of the game and where players are running and where the ball's moving, that if I'm dancing and cheering and chanting, like I've lost my focus on why I attend a game. But if I attend a game and I'm watching the tactics and watching everything happen on the field and it's silent, that's not enjoyable either.
Yeah.
Like I love the noise, I love the chants, I love the singing, and I love what Three Rivers Regiment and supporters groups do in that way. But I'm one that's like, I'm locked in. Like I don't even want the person next to me talking unless we're talking about the game. Like, did you see that run? Did you see where he went? What about that ball? He should have played it over the top and he didn't. Like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. But man, if it's silent, I don't want to be there. So I love what they do there. Paul, I think you had a question you wanted to throw out there.
First of all, that's the goalkeeper nerd in you that we alluded to earlier. So
intelligent, not nerd. Intelligent was the word, Paul.
No, but I think it's great because I help a lot with youth soccer, and they come to practice, they come to games, but we ask them, like, do you watch soccer on TV? What are you doing outside of this? And I think you're helping to try to create like a soccer fan, something a little more like a lifelong love for the game, because eventually we're not going to play youth soccer. We outgrow it, and how else can we enjoy it, whether it's on TV, attending it, coaching our own kids? And it sounds like internationally that's what you've experienced as well. They're just fans of the game. They're not just playing on an organized team.
So, and that's what's great with Fort Wayne FC for the last 5 years is being able to see these families bring their kids for the last 5 years, and they're going to have those core memories. And it's just going to continue to build. And once we get our own stadium, it's just going to be, it's going to be pretty insane. So
we've got some comments of appreciation here in the chat for you, Ryan. Christina says Ryan was with us from the beginning at Three Rivers Regiment, was instrumental in their growth. We'll always love Ryan. And then Dwayne in the chat here says Ryan was one of the first to recognize me for coming to Fort Wayne FC games year after year and remember that he was from Ohio. Ryan's always been that friendly, welcoming person. And, I second all of that, just as I've gotten to know you a little bit. And before we even met each other, you were sending me messages of you should connect with this podcaster and you should connect with this person. And so I just appreciate your heart your passion for the game, but your desire and your heart to network people who love the game, and to grow it here in Fort Wayne. So love what you're doing with Summit City Casuals, even if it's just resharing things. I know you do more than that, but I know I appreciate it. I follow that. And we've got some stories that we've done here on the show because of the way you are making things known. So appreciate what you do there and look forward to, potential opportunities to partner in ways moving forward.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that we can do for it. Yeah. So I appreciate it. I just want to give Dwayne's mom, Mary Lou, a shout out. So it's always great to see him bring Mary Lou around. So
that's awesome.
Go. And now she's been on the internet twice.
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say last.
That's awesome. Shout out to Mary Lou. Any other questions for Ryan tonight?
No. So do you have at games, are you, since you're the casual group of the people, do you have a specific place that you sit, or do you have a group that would prefer to sit, say they prefer to sit there than at Three Rivers Regiment, or how's that work?
Yeah, I like an elevated position, so you can see everything develop. So when I'm looking at the new seating chart for the new stadium, I'm trying to decide where I want my seats to be, so I can see all the action.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. There's not going to be very many high seats, I don't think, in that one. There will be, but every seat is going to have a great view, and it looks like a lot of them are close. I know there's a second tier on the one sideline, it looks like. So are you looking up in maybe a second tier or higher, lower tier?
I'm looking at the second tier, probably in the corner. Always like a corner flag action that goes on.
Really? Those are the cheap seats.
That's very specific. Yes.
No, that's great. That's great. Do you guys have, on that note, the other three of you a favorite spot in a stadium that you like to watch a game?
I like the 50-yard line. I mean, half stripe. Sorry. Wrong
Come
sport,
on, man. Wrong football.
Yeah, we won't have those lines next year. So
up high or down low? Up high or down low, Micah?
Up high. I need to see the game. I'm like you, Brian, where if I'm watching a game, I don't want anyone to talk to me. I don't, just let me watch, let me process. And then when something happens, then I'll get out of my seat. But I want to stay as high as possible. I want to see everything develop.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the exact same, except for I will say when we were in the suites, it was pretty awesome to be able to read the field way better. Yeah, it was way better. I mean, you could see everything. You could see everything playing out from a different vantage point. So I would say probably either end line or same as what Micah said.
The food was pretty good there too. I'll be honest.
I mean, true.
I think I tend to go with Ryan. You're a little more corner flag. You can be closer to some of the goal action. Kind of got the whole field in front of you. You have to look side to side, but just a good perspective. Can't go wrong either way.
I, on the other hand, I love, I'm not going to begrudge if I get tickets up high. I love seeing the play develop and all that, but man, you can't beat a pro soccer game down on field level or close to it. Again, 14 rows up from the field right next to the goal was incredible last night.
Yeah.
I've sat, my brother has season tickets in that stadium, 6 rows from the field. And so I've been spoiled in those seats when he pays for them. And then I sit up high when I pay for them. And so you do definitely get a different vantage point, but you actually get to see how big are these guys that are playing, the way they're you see on TV sometimes the way they body each other up, and it's I barely touched him, and you're like, no, he actually cracked him pretty good. He was right in front of me. So you get to see a different perspective up close than up high for sure. So, so Ryan, we'll look for you in the second tier in the corner next year, wherever we end up sitting. We'll come find you and celebrate the game. Celebrate the game with you. Thanks for being here, man. This has been a lot of fun, and we look forward to what you've got coming this year with Summit City Casuals. Maybe you'll get a bunch of fans up in that corner, and this is the casual section of the stadium.
Yeah,
maybe.
So and also get also get some people out to 1927, Turns on Flyers, Summit City United.
Yep,
all of those types of games. So real quick on Party at the Pitch.
Tell us a little bit about that.
5 food trucks there, Dustin. So. Mike's Tots was there. There's some ice cream options.
Okay.
But yeah, we were also not prepared for the weather because we got cooked. So Christina and I were roasting a little bit in the stands. So in that goal from Ball State, that was a nice cross into the corner, nice header to finish it. So
Yeah.
And Paul,
nice
you were
build-up on
there.
Yeah, it
You
was
were
a good
gonna
game.
kind of circle
was
back
for
to
the
your
women's
experience
game.
there while we're there. What'd you see? What'd you experience?
I thought it was a fun event, and it was cool. I was there with my wife and my daughter. We were there to see the local college soccer. I ran into Leo's girls soccer was there to watch. I know Sport Club and United had games that evening, so we ran across youth players, and I think they set a record. It was like over 1,000 people came in. So before we got into the stadium, when you're in the stadium, it was a lot of fun. Good event.
That's awesome. Yeah. So always looking forward to events like that. So, and Ryan, like I mentioned, we get a lot of our news about that sort of thing from you because you've got your finger on the pulse of that. So just again, appreciate what you're doing there with Summit City Casuals. It helps us what we do here at Fort Wayne Footy. And I hope likewise we're able to help you out and support you out in what you're doing. And so it's just fun to see the soccer community in Fort Wayne start to come together, these different pieces that maybe we didn't know each other existed coming together to grow the culture. And so ton of fun. Appreciate you and your work. And we'll have you back here real soon, man, here on the show. So thanks.
Shout out to Stanley behind you up there. I can see him up in the corner.
From Tin Caps, Tin Caps a couple years ago. So
nice.
But I was also happy to add to the bald ratio to the Tonight Show as well. So, there we go.
Love it. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, man.
Take it easy.
Man.
All right.
I love having guests on the show. Just getting different perspectives and hearing different voices. And again, love what he's doing at Summit City Casuals. Those are fun stories. I learned a lot from him when we got to chat. I'm glad he got to share some of that here as well. Next week on the show, we have a guest, Sam Peck, coming from Summit City United, the head coach of the men's team there, the men's indoor professional teams coming on the show next week. So if you're interested in that, make sure you tune in. We got some games coming up. This week, I want to circle back to some high school and some college games that are coming up here. Paul, why don't you walk us through some of the games, boys and girls side, that maybe we should have our eyes on this week?
Yeah, we talked about Lures earlier. I have some good tests coming up. They're working on their goalie situation, but the schedule's not going to wait for that. They Carroll tomorrow. That'll be a great matchup. Then they host Dwenger on Thursday, so a good week for them. And then Carroll is going to host Northrop on Wednesday. So, like I said, a couple of good tests there going on. On the girls' side, Carroll at Northrop on Thursday, and then conference play is happening. So we have Belmont at Leo tomorrow, and then Leo at DeKalb on Wednesday. And all three of these teams are sitting at 3-0 in the conference, NE8. So something's got to give there. So some good matchups with consequence there.
Yeah. If you don't want to go see Carroll play for whatever reason on Wednesday, Warsaw is coming to town, playing Homestead at Homestead on Wednesday night. So that'll be a tough matchup as well. Warsaw Homestead drew 0-0 on Warsaw's beautiful pitch out there last year.
Such a trashy pitch. Trashy pitch.
Warsaw came to town and knocked Homestead out of sectionals last year. So it'll be a good match on that night as well. So lots of good games coming up on the college side of things. Let me get back here. We've got some other games coming up here. St. Francis women are continuing to roll an impressive 6-1-1 record. Do we have their schedule? Maybe I misspoke. We don't have their.
Oh yeah, I think that was more recap.
Upcoming schedule. We've got their past games, so we'll post those. Ryan will actually post those probably coming up at Summit City Casual. So follow him at Summit City Casuals, and we'll repost some of those games coming up here this week. In the college world, it's fun to see teams just out doing really well here in our area. That's what we're here for, to celebrate all of that. Guys, we're getting close to the end here. Is there anything we have that came up tonight for our extra time segment that you want to spend the last minute or two on?
I don't think so. Are you playing cricket music or noises?
I'm not, but I can.
Oh, no, it must be outside. These are like noise canceling, and I'm hearing crickets. I'm like, what's
now
going
you're
on?
hearing crickets, but I wasn't playing them before.
How do you just have that button ready to go?
Between
That's so
crickets and
funny.
ducks and
I know. What the heck?
Preset on this mixer that I've never used before. And I was like, oh, it's right there.
You teased at the beginning of the show again. Did you want to make your announcement?
Our announcement.
I was like, that we have a minute, so you
I
probably
was
should do
waiting
it
for you
now.
to set me up for that. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Micah, tell us all about that's the response I got last week from Autumn and Dustin when I mentioned this live show. They're like, their eyes got really big.
We were like,
Fort Wayne Sport Club on September 27th is having a JV tournament, the Pat Teagard Memorial Classic. And I believe there's 30 JV teams from all over the state coming into this tournament. Maybe more, maybe less. I can't remember. 30 is the number that's sticking into my head. Coming into Fort Wayne to play in this massive JV tournament. Each team, I think, gets 2 games throughout the day, both boys and girls. And we're going to be there. Fort Wayne Footy is going to be there live in person. We'll have a booth set up. We've spent some money to get some equipment so that we can do a live show. I got the last bit of it today. Actually, I drove into town from Cincinnati and drove straight to a gentleman's house to pick up a set of speakers so that we can have a live show on September 27th. And so the way tentatively we think it's going to work is there are games scheduled, I think, every 2 hours at 9, 11, 1, 3, and 5. And we're going to have some shows in between there starting at 10:30, 12:30, 2:30, and 4:30. There'll be shorter shows, but we're going to bring in some local coaches. We're going to try and get some other local folks there in the soccer community that we've been talking to. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but we're working on that. So come out, watch some great JV soccer. Come out, support the show. Hoping to have some giveaways, some things that we can do for you. I can't promise that. We're working on it. Probably shouldn't have said that yet. But we're working on some things, but definitely doing some live shows that day. We would love to see you out there. If you've got kids playing, or if you are a student that you're playing, stop by and see us. We'd love to get to know you, meet you, and introduce you to the soccer world if you happen to be around when we're recording live. So catch us at Fort Wayne Sport Club at the Pat Teagard Memorial Classic on September 27th. We will be there all day. I know, Micah, you're coaching, so I think you're going to pop in and out as you can. That day. Dustin, you've got a kid playing, I think, right?
Yep.
You'll be popping
1 and 5.
All right, 1 and 5. You can catch those games. And Paul, I'm not sure what you got going on that day. We haven't really talked about it, but you're around. Come. Yeah. I want you to be there
Saturday. Yeah.
I know people are going to ask about Autumn. I'm surprised we fired Autumn again in the chat, but Autumn is on her way home from an NWSL game that she went to. And so supporting soccer on a higher level tonight. And I think she actually she's running a race that day.
She's running a mini. It was a mini marathon, right?
I think it's the Fort Wayne.
And then has a game. That she's driving her team to. So she will not be there that day, unfortunately. So we don't want to bait and switch, like come meet Autumn, and Autumn's not there. But we do want to meet you. We'd love to see you there. Maybe a fat head. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we have to have a fat head of her.
Did you say Autumn has a fat head? Is that what you said?
No, I did not. And you're not going to get me on that. I think even with the brain fog, you're not getting me on that. I did not say that.
I think we might have just did. Thanks for joining us tonight on Fort Wayne Footy. For the guys here, Dustin, Paul, Micah, and myself, and Autumn, who apparently, according to Dustin, has a fat head. We're out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.